All right. What's up? What's up? I know we are early today. Earlier than last week because we had a late one last week. But we are here. It is another Wednesday of Ladybird Live on Facebook. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you guys are having a good day. I know some of you guys are at work right now wishing you was home, but it's okay. You'll be off soon. Trust me. All right. So, hello, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. If you have questions as we go through this interview, please make sure that you put them in the comments. In the comments, if you are on YouTube or Facebook, if you're on Twitter, my apologies. It does not allow me to see any retweets or anything on Twitter, but you can come to YouTube or Facebook and ask your questions. Make sure in the comments you let me know where you are watching from so we know who's watching and where you are at. Thanks for tuning in. Now, my guest this week is my girl, Positively D, Miss Davina Connor. She and I have known each other for some years now. She was counting it earlier. She was like, So we're going to see, because I think she said 8 years. Was it 8 years ago? So I'm going to bring her on. We're going to talk to her. She's going to tell us her story as well as all the things she's doing right now. Because listen, let me tell y'all, she's doing a lot. She catching flights. She got more miles than me on these flights right now. So I'm going to bring her on. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey.
Listen.
It's been 8 years. It's been 8 years.
It's been 8 years.
First, I want to say, I like your intro. I was just smiling when I seen it. I love your intro. I know somebody that can make you an intro song too because they made me one.
Okay, well, that music for my intro is actually a song from a national recording group who sent me the song to use. I just didn't use the lyrics because I didn't want to get flagged like that. But yeah, I still want to have like different things.
Your own personal song with your name in it and everything.
Yeah, so if you got somebody, tell them, come on, holla at me.
That'd go real good with that intro.
Thank you. So I want you to tell everybody, I did a little short version, but tell everybody who you are. And you can share your story with them and they're gonna have questions. Okay, so definitely. Okay. So the floor is yours.
Okay, so I am D Connor. Everybody in the HIV community knows me as Positively D. Started advocating by way of podcast, internet podcast radio. And I think that's how I met Renee 8 years ago. This month, May, makes 26 years that I've been living with HIV. Woo! And people probably saying, why she's so happy? I'm happy because I'm still alive. It's a blessing to wake up every day. So yeah, 26 years. I have a daughter born negative since I've been living with HIV. She is 21 years old. I was actually married to a man who was HIV negative around the time that I got pregnant with her. My other daughter was 6 when I was diagnosed, and she is now 32. So I'm probably like kind of telling my age, huh? I'm probably kind of like telling my age. But that's the short of it. Yeah, that's the short of it.
Yeah. So 26 years ago. Oh my gosh. That's a long listen, 26 years.
Girl, that's a long time.
They probably doing the math like, wait a minute, this lady don't look like she that old. But no, yeah. So
I'm not that old, Renee.
You're not that old. So when you got that diagnosis 26 years ago, what was going through your mind? Because think about it, from 26 years ago till now, it's a completely different world. And I remember, and like the title of this interview I did, from 14 pills to 8 pills to 8 pills to now 2 pills. So what was it like, them saying, all right, here go your medicine, and it's these 14 pills?
Ooh. Yeah, it was hard. So think about, you didn't know you were living with it at first. And then after I found out that I was diagnosed with HIV, it took me 3 months before I even got into care because I didn't know where to go. It's a little different now because now they actually link people right into care. Back
Right.
then, I didn't get nothing, Lady Bird, nothing.
Wow.
No pamphlets, no nothing. Nobody told me where to go. I just went home. Um, so the difference now is people are not taking as many pills. So people were taking anywhere from 12 to 30 pills a day back then. I was on 14. I was sick a lot, nauseated, vomiting. My mouth was dry. My tongue was numb. My head hurt all the time. So I looked wore out, tired. I looked really tired. I remember my neighbors used to say, "What's wrong with you?" I wasn't going to
Right.
tell them. Now back then, I was like, "Oh, nothing. I'm just, just tired from working so much." But yeah, now people are taking 1 and 2 pills, which is a blessing. So um, you have a lot of people that I look at it like this. A lot of people get mad and upset at the pharmaceutical companies because they say the pharmaceutical companies are making money off the medication.
Right.
But the way that I look at it, there's always the positive in something, right? The way that I look at it is I'm not worried about how much they're making. I am just blessed that I'm still here because if it wasn't for them, I still wouldn't be alive this long living with it. So I don't complain. If they want to sell the pills for that much, let them sell them. But if most of the time, it's not even coming out of our pocket anyway. They got so many programs where you only have to pay for the meds. So it's
Right.
not coming out of our pocket.
Absolutely. Yeah. You said that because a lot of people do it, but I think with me, I think what kind of upsets me a lot of time is that people actually are getting the medication and they ain't taking it. Like,
That
what are
part.
you doing?
Yep.
Like, you know how many people need the medication, and because of whatever reason, they either don't try to find a resource or they can't afford it. If they, even because people think, okay, well, they got a lot of money, that means they can afford it. Guess
Mm.
what? You have people whose income is over the minimum they require you to have if they were to cover it, but that don't mean they're making enough money to pay for a $3,000 a month
Right.
medicine.
So
So
I got I because I work, so I'm explaining to the people the medical insurance that I have, I could be paying my copays, but guess what? The pharmaceutical companies have copay cards, so I still don't pay nothing for my medication.
Yep. And a lot of people don't realize that. And that's not just with HIV medication. That's with a lot of different medications they have where if you call the actual company or the manufacturer, they have discount programs for
Mm-hmm.
it. So now let's talk about the work that you do because let me tell you something. When this whole you equals you thing came out, I was like, these people crazy. These people, Dia tell you,
She didn't believe it. She was like, "Girl, what is you doing?"
listen, she would tell y'all. I was like, listen, these people crazy. What did y'all talk about? You equal what? So D had to break it down to me, and the way you broke it down to me, it turned me completely around because when you break it down and when you really explain it, it's so different than what is
Yeah.
most times presented. And I wish they would just go ahead and make you like the official national for you equals you because the stuff that I'm hearing and the way people are taking this you equal you, they taking it and like they want to do what they want to do. So can you explain like how did that come to you? Like how did you get approached with the whole you equals you thing and spreading that around?
um. Well, in 2000, I kind of already knew that I couldn't transmit HIV to my partner who was he was negative. I always tell people the doctor said it, but she didn't really say it because I had a lot of questions. I'm like, well, if I can't, because I was going to get rid of my baby. And I says, well, if I can't transmit HIV to my husband, to my baby, then that means I can't transmit HIV to my husband, which is something we already knew for a very long time, or he would be living with HIV. So she said it, but she didn't really say it. So we knew right then. I knew in 2000. And then let's go back about 16 years later
Mhm.
when
You
I started seeing something come across Twitter called U equals U. And I would read it, but I would just kind of like keep scrolling because I was like, oh, I already knew that. Um, I actually seen Bruce Richmond at the Positive Living Conference.
Love Bruce.
And we sat and we talked for a very, very long time. And he asked me, if you knew, how come you never said anything? And I said to him, well, back then I wasn't an advocate. I wasn't really sharing my status around, with everybody. So I just kept on continuing to live my life. But after I had a conversation with him, I just hit the ground running talking about you equals you, because it's actually taking a weight off of our shoulders just to know that we can't transmit. And I do it to help other people who are living with that internalized stigma, to let them know that it's okay. They can be in love now, they can be in relationships, they can have a baby, and they can do it without fear of transmitting HIV. There's actually zero risk. Zero. Zero. No matter
Yeah.
how anybody look at it, is zero risk. Um, and that's because of the studies. And a lot of people don't understand when it comes to studies. Everybody say they believe in science. So if you believe in science, why wouldn't you believe in U equals U? Because they
Right.
had studies done for um, several amount of years to make sure that it was true. So yeah, there were 4 studies. They had one. They knew in 2008 too. It was a Swiss statement in another country. Right now, I can't think of the country. And then after that, then they started doing other studies. There's HPTN 052, opposites attract, partner 1 study, partner 2 study.
Yeah, I
And out of
remember
all
that
those
one.
studies, yeah, out of all 4 of those studies, there was 125,000 condom and sex acts, and still zero transmission to HIV. So
Mm.
that's how we
Okay, yeah. Look, I had to mute a minute. Your friends over here getting a little rambunctious. Summertime is among us.
know.
Um, but yeah, so yeah, and that's what really made me start paying attention when you start talking about it, and I'm like, okay. And then I saw Bruce, talking about it. I'm like, okay, let me really pay attention. Let me stop, because
Yeah,
that initial thought is like, wait a minute, what? But then once I sat back and I'm listening to it, I'm like, okay, so if I'm taking my medication, if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, if I'm with a partner, say the condom breaks, say we don't use a condom, they're not going to contract the virus as long as I'm undetectable, and that was something that I feel like was real important to know, because like you said, you have people out here who are just afraid to love, they're afraid to live and just do all of the stuff that they really can do. And even now, and I cannot wait till we get CC on here, because I was looking at CC crazy too. Like, girl, you finna do what? You finna breastfeed?
right.
I
Girl,
was
I was
like,
so happy though. I was so
I was
happy.
happy
I
too.
was so happy. I
Yes,
always say somebody got to do it.
somebody got to
And
do
she was
it.
scared, but somebody got
I
to do it.
know. Yeah.
I think like when it first came out, a lot of people didn't want to believe it or understand it, because for years they said that we can transmit HIV. So when this came out, people didn't want to believe it. Somebody's asking what is actually U equals U. So
Yeah, I
U
saw that.
equals U means undetectable equals untransmittable. It means a person who is living with HIV, as long as they stay in care and on their medication, they become virally suppressed. But that means undetectable. That's what the doctor tells us, undetectable. We can't transmit HIV to our partners or to our unborn child. Um, the funny thing is, a lot of doctors weren't telling a lot of women about U equals U. So think about the women who could have had children and didn't because they were talked out of it. Either got their tubes tied or they got an abortion. That's the part that makes me really sad. Because in 2000, I was told, and there were women in 2000 who weren't told, and now they're my age and they still don't have any children because of it.
Yeah. Yeah, because even with when I got my diagnosis, I was pregnant with the twins. So this is 2007. And then once I had them in 2008, the doctors, even then, they were very adamant about saying, hey, well, you should get your tubes tied. And I was just, look, I was adamant in return, no, because think about it. Had I not done that, then I would not have my almost 9-year old, you
What they
know.
do, try to scare you, huh?
Yeah, they try to scare you and say, oh, well, this is risky, this is this is that. And it's like, okay. but I'm still not gonna tie my tools. And it wasn't even a thing of, me possibly having more kids. I'm looking at it on the overall standpoint as a woman. Cause this is a man doctor that's telling me this. Sir, you don't have ovaries and a uterus. You know.
Girl, say trust
So
in God.
right, like wait a minute. So you want me to go ahead at not even 30 years old and just jump start into these hot flashes and everything that's coming with menopause when it's time?
And
No,
that's
thank you.
and that's why a lot of women who living with HIV now don't have no kids because of doctors like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it breaks my heart. It really does. Um, but I just keep shouting you equals you because I know it's gonna help people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so yes, in the comments, so it is you, the letters you.
Yeah,
So
you
you
equals
equals you.
you.
So undetectable
Undetectable
equals
equals
untransmittable.
untransmittable. Yep.
Yeah. So now for you, I know you said your youngest is 21.
Hmm.
So how was that pregnancy? Because again, when you got your diagnosis, you already had a child. You had a child then, but then now here we are right behind. How was that? Was it unexpected? Like, was it something like, wait a minute, I'm what? Yeah, I need all the tea.
It was unexpected. I'm just be honest. We weren't using condoms. Let's just be honest. But ugh, that pregnancy scared the crap out of me. I
Mm.
didn't want to have her. I
Was
did not.
was it a fear that she would
I,
have it,
I did
even though
not
you know you were
want.
taking
Yeah,
medicine?
I didn't want to have her. So the doctor I had actually sent me to a specialist, a woman physician who specialized in women who live with HIV who were pregnant, and that's all she did. And so it was an hour drive away. He says, "Why don't you go see her first, before you make up your mind?" So he made me an appointment, and I drove down there. And when I walked in there, I was scared, I was paranoid, I was crying. And she took my hands and she just says, "It's gonna be okay." She says, "If you do exactly what I tell you to do, I promise you." And she said it twice. "I promise you that your baby is not gonna be born with HIV."
Nice.
So, yep.
Where's she at? We need clones of her.
Yeah. So I went and saw her when my daughter was 17,
Nice.
and we just hugged and cried, and
I'm
because
finna say and cried. If I know
yeah,
you was some tears.
yeah.
Yes.
So that was like a aha moment. Like, look at this, my goodness! After all these years, yep. If it
Right.
wasn't for her, my daughter wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Yep, she wouldn't be here. So yeah,
That's good. Yeah. That's good. And see that I say that's good because you have so many other doctors who would have not done that. They would have just said, okay, well, you don't want this baby, then okay. They would have just chucked it off and just
yep. But he gave me a choice to go see somebody else first. So I mean, that's the care where I was at in Denver. The care in Denver is amazing, girl, for people living with HIV. It's amazing. So amazing. Other states still got a lot of work to do. With
we ain't
Denver
even
is
talk
amazing.
about Florida.
Denver is amazing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So let's talk
Hmm.
about now some of the things that you're doing because you all over the place. Baby girl is on little billboards at the bus stop on the signs and listen, because like you say, you have not been doing this a long time. You've not been open a long time, but it's
8
like
years.
once
Only
you
eight
just
years.
yeah, it's like once you said, you know what, bump this, I'm finna talk, everything just took off. And this has been like it's from that to now doing whole cohorts,
Yeah. Right.
you know. Right.
Hello. So you know what? It's as well as I know, Lady Bird, that it ain't easy in telling people that you're living with this. And the people that are doing it because it's part of their journey. It's a process. It's the creator that had us do this because we got to put a face to it, especially in the black community, especially for black women, because
Right.
we the highest rate of HIV. So no, it wasn't easy. I did it because something kept pushing me mentally to do it. And so I tell people all the stuff that I do when it comes to advocacy, it's the creator telling me to do it. It's just like you starting this podcast. You started it
Right.
because something told you you had to. And I
Yeah.
bet you it kept telling you and kept telling you and kept telling you.
And
And
I was
eventually,
fighting it.
that wasn't nothing but the creator, girl. That wasn't nothing but the creator telling you to do it. So everything I do, I literally do it because the creator puts it in my head. And when it keeps nagging at my brain, I know it's him telling me to do it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
because look, I got it going at the bottom. If you on TikTok, go follow her on TikTok. Cause y'all know I don't be,
Woo!
but listen, she has some great TikToks. She do the transition, she do whatever it is on TikTok, she has it down pat. Trust me. You probably need to teach TikTok classes.
I gave one once. Only one time.
See, I
Yeah,
knew
only
it.
once. Yeah.
Yeah, and but the TikToks you do are so educational. Like people are learning, they learning stuff, and I see it because when it pops up, even when I'm just like I go on there, sometimes I open TikTok and the first thing pop up. I be like, let me go look at this, and then I end up on a rabbit hole of
Look.
your whole
You know we
page.
like music. Who don't like music? So you
Yeah,
take music, you dance, and you just put words up, and people will pay attention to it. So that helps them to be educated that way instead of listening to me
yeah,
talk.
right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna play a quick commercial, and then I'm gonna come back, and I want to talk about the documentary and talk about your nonprofit, your
Okay.
Pos Haven. So we're gonna do that. All right. Let me get this commercial. And again, if you guys have anything you want advertised while I'm on here live, you have a brand, a product, a business, whatever it is you want, reach out to me and I can get it on here as a commercial for you. I say that my prices are fairly reasonable. Shout out to Mr. Joseph Barnes. He actually got a whole month of advertisement from me. He was pleased with it. And if you need his services when you watch this commercial, make sure you reach out to him. All right, let's.
Jacksonville, Florida. Are you looking to purchase a home? Contact Joe for your next real estate experience. Not only is Joseph Barnes retired from the Navy after 20 years of defending his country, but he's ready to provide you with a stress-free home buying experience. Visit his website, www.broseph.biz, www.broseph.biz today. And also, find Joseph Barnes on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
All right, so we are back. We are back.
I
So
like that
D,
commercial. You doing it, girl. I like this. I like this.
listen, like you
I
say,
like it.
when it's put in your mind and you try to
Ooh, I
fight it,
like it.
I fought. Like my mind kept saying, "Girl, you need to go ahead and do this. You like to go live. You like to do stuff. Do it."
And you got so many followers. You
Yes.
really do. Just to continue to keep educating them, girl. You got so many followers. People in Florida, where you at? Jacksonville, they support the hell out of you.
Child,
You
listen.
know?
They
Yeah.
got I got a love hate relationship with
Uh,
it, but.
somebody asked me, can I answer this question first from somebody?
Yeah, sure.
So she says, see, you were diagnosed after you were married. How did your husband react to your diagnosis? No, I wasn't diagnosed after I was married. I was actually found out I was living with HIV from a 10-year relationship I had. I was not married to him. Um, I met him when I was 17 years old and he was 22. That's who I had my oldest daughter by. We were never married though. And so I found out about a few months later after we split up. We broke up when I was 27. And then I found out months later that I had HIV. So
Mm.
the guy I married didn't have it. So
And you hear that? He married her.
hmm relationships,
So people
girl.
think that
Woo, relationships.
somebody
I
said
ain't had a
go
problem.
TikTok.
I ain't had a problem.
So I put your TikTok scrolling back because somebody wanted to know what the TikTok name. So it's positively D with a Z and not a S. So it is scrolling across the bottom. So go ahead and grab it real quick. I'll put it in the chat as well so you guys can get the link. Look, I go to TikTok and she just bouncing like this, y'all. On one of them videos, just bouncing away.
I love music, Lady Bird.
I know
Oh
music is like
my gosh.
therapy. I
I
feel like
don't know what
music
I
is
do
therapy
without it.
for the soul. Yeah. Look, and then I'm posting the wrong. What is going on with my? You know what? Why is it? Oh, why is it doing that? Okay, no, that's the other one. So let's talk about that since it posted. Let's talk about the documentary.
Okay.
So the documentary is here we are voices.
HereWeAreVoices.com. And it's actually a link. It's a link on there where you can click and you can watch it. It'll take you to YouTube to watch it. So that's something that I've always wanted to do. Didn't have the money to do it because it costs. You got to fly here, you got to fly there. You got to help people with the people got to do editing and all that and color and sound mix. It takes time. So I actually apply for this thing called visual aids. Every year they put it out, and I put an abstract in for it and was chosen because they said no one ever turned in one for Black women. No one, all
Wow.
these years. So we were chosen, and they didn't give you a lot of money to do it. We actually spent more money out of our pocket to do it. So I traveled to some of the states, recorded the women, and then we did a sound mix with the sound mixer and somebody did color correction. It takes a lot of time, and then Karen Hayes, who worked with me on it, that's what she actually does for a living. So I was just blessed to have her be able
Right.
to help me do it. And I just thought that it needed to be done to show Black women that we're living, we're thriving. It's to help get rid of the stigma. You can use it in focus groups. People can have questions at the end, and it's a 7-minute documentary, but it seems like it's so much longer because of the women's voices are so powerful. You could just hear their voices of the
Mhm.
stigma that rings out inside the documentary. And then we also used a Black woman who was an artist. We found her on Instagram. And so the music in the back, that's her voice in the background. Yeah. So you make sure we use the all Black women.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys go to the website, watch that documentary. Like she said, it's only 7 minutes or so
It's only
long.
7 minutes.
It's not gonna take up much of your time. You can do it. Listen, don't act like you don't take your phone with you when you go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay. You
Right.
got time to watch this
Yeah. Watch it
documentary.
and comment. Make a
Yes,
comment
watch
because
it, comment, and
we
share.
actually are we got chosen for it's called the Who Festival out of 900
Nice.
documentaries. They chose 70 and we were one of the ones chosen. So we'll find out in July if we won. And then there was another one called Women. Oh gosh, I should know it. It's in Uganda.
Okay.
We actually got chosen for our documentary to be shown in Uganda
Nice.
at
That's
Women's
international, you guys. So
Conference.
look, that's what I love about this, the fact that we can reach people all over, not
Yep.
just here in the United States, but we reach in Africa, we reach in
Right.
the UK, Australia, everywhere. We are reaching.
Everywhere.
Yes.
They showed it in 143 theaters, organizations, and museums on World AIDS Day, December that just passed. But
Mm-hmm.
when I look at this whole thing, Lady Bird, it's not about the money with this documentary because it needs to be out there with people.
Right.
So we're just putting it in these different things, and if they accept it, we let them show it.
Absolutely. Look, should we show it now? We could show it. You want them
If
to
you
see it?
want, it's only 7 minutes,
I know. Look, let me see. Let me see. Let's see what we
and
can
we
do.
still got 30 minutes to go.
I know. Hold up, cause I be over here. My mind just be freestyling with it. Here, we're gonna watch it. Let me
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna put myself
yeah,
on mute.
we're gonna watch it. Let's see. I'm gonna do a screen share for that one. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna screen share it. We're gonna watch this. It's literally seven, not even 7 minutes. So let's see. Make sure I mute myself. I'm gonna make it big so y'all can see the whole screen and mute myself while I be talking.
My story traces back 26 years ago, 1995.
1997.
It's been 21 years.
27 years.
20 years.
22 years.
I was 27 years old. Felt alone,
unwanted,
Afraid.
It was very scary.
no one would love me
and
anymore.
think I would have someone to talk to.
I was angry. I was stunned.
I didn't know anyone with a
was
diagnosis
betrayal.
could relate.
How this happened to me being a Black woman, and it was considered a gay man's disease.
I was embarrassed.
And it was devastating. How long did I have to live?
Thought I was gonna die.
The lady told me I had 7 years to live. I found out that I was pregnant.
I had a 3-year-old son at the time.
I was a 27-year-old mother of a young daughter.
Kept it a secret for 2 years before I ever even told anybody.
When I was about to deliver, the anesthesiologist screamed out the hall, "You gotta be careful." They brought my youngest in, and in that bassinet, they had a red index card that said, "Wear gloves."
Medical mistrust, man, it is so real.
And I was told that I would never have babies again, that I should get everything just cut out. I wanted to have another child. So in 2014, my baby was showing signs of fetal anemia. He was born, but he was barely breathing. When the doctor calls me, he says, "I've never dealt with people like you."
The stigma has been so tremendous. As a Black woman, that's the reason why my baby boy's life was taken. And that was one of the worst days of my life.
I started just planning my death. I was from a very small town. The whole town was saying how I was contagious.
My mom, she went to the church and she told her friend. And her friend started telling everybody.
People were cleaning the bathroom after I used it. I was made homeless.
That sent me into total isolation.
Carrying that secret kept me in a bad mental space.
I didn't want anybody to know me. I didn't think I wanted to exist anymore.
Because of the self-stigma and the outside stigma.
I am now 52.
I would have never
imagined that I would be living with HIV. The only thing that I heard of about HIV was Eazy-E and Magic Johnson. I never saw anyone who looked like me, especially a woman.
It still impacts today when somebody asks you how you got it. That's stigma. Being a young Black woman, I felt very left out. Not many billboards, commercials. I didn't see a lot of young people.
Finding places to fit in, being a Black woman was hard.
There were no Black women stepping up.
No one wanted to be associated or even hear about it.
People were really just afraid.
It was so deep-rooted.
It took me 17 years to realize the internal stigma I carried wasn't just mine. What about other Black women who live with HIV?
I'm fighting every day until I can erase the stigma that has caused so much tremendous harm.
We have to work so that we feel empowered. I am a survivor. I am a survivor.
It made me feel like, oh, Tam, you have some barriers to break. You deserve to take up space and have your voice heard, because I didn't see little to none of the Black woman at all.
I did eventually find places that were supporting Black women. My buttons show all of the places that show me love and support.
My life has changed forever because you equals you. Undetectable equals untransmittable.
it caused me to focus on something positive.
I began to say, you know what, I can talk about this.
I'm taking my power, and instead of people stigmatizing me, I want to change the narrative.
My spirituality, loving myself, and being there for my children allowed me to persist.
Once we get educated about the experiences of Black women living with HIV, we can start to dismantle stigma.
Can't wait for anyone to do it for us.
I don't live with HIV on some levels. HIV lives with me, and I'm going to give it a hell of a ride.
I am thriving, living my life unapologetically, and if resilience had a picture to go with the definition, it would absolutely be me. Red reminds me, red reminds me, red reminds me to be free.
Thank you for playing it.
Yes, I'm over here like, listen, what did she say? It was when she said, the doctor was telling her, it just brought it all the way back to that moment when she said the
Yep.
doctor told her, I never dealt with anybody like this. Like, that's crazy.
It shows the stigma, the medical mistrust, all of it, and how everybody felt. And then at the end, it just showed how everybody was happy and living and
And
thriving.
dancing, look.
Yeah, yeah.
I say, look at Alicia over there dancing, get her there.
So they didn't know. They came to my birthday party last year. They didn't know when we were dancing that the guy was actually recording for the documentary.
Wow,
I
look.
didn't tell them. They just thought the guy was recording for the party.
Right. So that
Because
was
if I would have told them, they would have been looking all in the camera. So yeah.
and they just
Yep.
being themselves. That's
Mhm.
good. I like that. So yeah, so if you guys get a chance, go back and watch it as many times as you want to watch it. I'm gonna go back and watch it
Yeah,
again.
thank
I'm
you
gonna
so
share
much
it
for
on my
playing
page,
it.
and I'm gonna about to go share it everywhere. But yes, so woo. Anything else you want? Oh, so let's talk about the Paz Haven Foundation.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
that is
So
yes, let's talk about that.
in 2015, I had started a nonprofit. Well, it wasn't a nonprofit, it was just an organization. Me going around talking to people about HIV and giving out condoms and actually going on the street. Um, Once I got my nonprofit in 2017, talking to people with a microphone and setting a table up while people walk by these busy bus stops and stuff. And I would go and buy Starbucks gift cards because I was in Denver at the time and it was cold. I would do it like in December and give them an incentive. I say, hey, I got a Starbucks gift card, $10 Starbucks gift card. If you talk to me, and just ask me a few questions about HIV, and people were doing it. I give them cookies, and that's how it started. It's grassroots, but it's still grassroots. So me living in Las Vegas now, I still do condoms. I actually been giving away 2,000 condoms a year. That's just me doing it alone by myself.
Right.
I just started a board, so that's good. Now I have a little help. Um, I have events. I do a lot of mentoring for women. Um, I do a lot of support, like support services where people call and find out resources that they need. So I hope you can hear me. I give them the
Yeah.
resources that they need. But now every year, annually, we have a women and girls. It's called I Matter Women and Girls Health event. Um, it doesn't look like an HIV event because people won't show up. And I put it
Yeah.
in the Black community for a reason. We actually had 78 women come to the event, and maybe 10 were living with HIV. So all those women in there got educated
Nice.
by people from organizations or advocates that came and spoke. So that's what I've been doing with it. Working now really hard to work on getting a small grant for just to start setting up the nonprofit the way that it's supposed to go, but it's just taking me some time to do it.
Nice. Now I know you're in Vegas, so ooh, Sin City, child.
Hot city.
Hot Sin City. 'Cause
Whoa. Hot
so
city.
being in Vegas, so how does that? Because when I think in Vegas, and if I'm like, oh, I could go, like I'm looking at it like, man, you know how many people I could reach in Vegas? Like, are you finding it hard to do that in Vegas? Yeah.
So think about, I mean, you can go into the communities, yeah, but it's I call it a transient state because people come in and out so much. And I think too that it's hard for them to keep up their numbers when it comes to HIV because people are in and out of
Right.
Las Vegas. But as far as the advocacy part goes, it's going. I think it can go a little better. I think Las Vegas is still a little behind when it comes to HIV. They're catching up, but they're a little behind. So we were glad when they started that U equals U campaign with those posters because that's going to help people too. You don't see, like in New York, girl, billboards everywhere. HIV
Everywhere.
billboards everywhere.
Times Square.
Bus stops,
Yeah.
billboard signs, clinics, testing sites everywhere. And people were trying to figure out why their numbers are low. That's why. That's
Mm-hmm.
why. If every state does that, we can get the numbers to drop.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's difficult, but they coming along in Las Vegas. It's frustrating. Like with the Ryan Weinhopper, they don't some states it's the guidelines. Every state has different guidelines when it comes to people who live with HIV who are homeless, and their
Mm-hmm.
guidelines are terrible. They don't even have a hotel to put anybody in for 30 days who's living with. I know about 3 people down there now who are homeless, and I just before I came here, I've been on the phone for 5 6 days trying to get this one woman a place to stay.
Right. I remember seeing that post.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because I was like, wait a minute. I was like, that funding, how they taking it and it's going where it don't need to go a lot of times. So yeah.
yeah, it's the guidelines though.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah. So if you guys are watching right now, we are sitting here with Miss D, Positively D. And she's just talking to us about the U equals U. We've talked about her nonprofit, her documentary. And so one more thing I want to ask with the U equals U. So I want you to tell everybody why it's important to understand U equals U, because I'm finding just from the stuff that I'm doing, I'm finding a lot of people not really understanding it. They're understanding it as, well, I could just go and have unprotected sex because I can't give it to nobody. And I'm like, but there are other STDs,
STIs, yes.
so can you really like
So
explain that aspect
yeah,
of it,
I
like for
know.
people to really
I know
understand?
we talked about it. So I know in the beginning, a lot of people thought that U equals U was promoting condomless sex, and that's not what it was about. It was to let us know that we could live again. That's what it's about. Us living again and feeling free from shame and stigma, and just knowing that we can live a healthy sexual life with our partner, and that we can have children. And so, it's not about condomless sex though. We're not
Right.
promoting condomless sex. Like Lady Bird said, there's all other STIs out there. So you still gonna have to use precaution. It's gonna be to your discretion though. Your
Right.
discretion now if you're gonna use protection, because me, Lady Bird, and other people living with this, I don't need nothing else stacked on top of what I already have. I just
At
make it
all.
make sense because it doesn't. So a lot of people prefer to date someone who's living with HIV. over the years, I have chosen not to, not because I didn't want to. It's just I kept telling myself, why should I limit who I date because I'm living with HIV? And I've actually found it easier to date men who are negative than men who are positive. So that's why. But you have to take precaution when it comes to living with this. It's up to you to take care of your sexual health in the way that you're supposed to, so you can't contract anything else.
Right. Someone in the car. Oh, hey, Miss Debbie. Miss Debbie said, what do you need to get your nonprofit up and going? Also, what are some of the specific areas your nonprofit will focus on regarding HIV?
Okay. Well, I have a condom distribution program. It's called So's Haven. I've been doing that for years. Working on trying to get a small building so I can have women's support groups. I had them at my house, but that's not working out because when I have people come there that I'm mentoring, they don't want to leave. And one lady was at my house till like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. She didn't want to leave, so I can't do that anymore. Just trying to get a space where I could have those things for women here in Las Vegas, and then I'll go from there. But I have to start small, and then
Right.
it'll grow.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of different places. I mean, they have like the support groups and stuff, but like you say, like where you're at, they really need.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to have a women's retreat. I want to
I'm
start
coming.
I want to start an African support group and have the facilitator be an African woman that's
Got
running
it.
a support group, because there's not a lot of support groups for only people in other countries who live in Africa. Their
And a
their
lot of
their
them get a
their
lot of
their yeah,
misinformation.
their experiences are different than ours. So they
Yeah.
come here from another country and they're still just frightened. They don't want nobody to know they're living with. Their experience is so much different than ours is.
Oh
So,
yeah. I hear that all the time. I
mhm.
get people messaging me and they're like, I'm trying to leave. Like they'll literally tell me, I'm trying to leave Africa because of X, Y, and Z. And my mouth is open, like, are you serious?
It's bad.
It is very
It's
bad. And I was
bad.
like, wow.
I actually married a man from Africa, girl.
I remember.
I don't tell people, but we ain't together no more now.
You heard what I said? I remember.
We
I
ain't
remember.
together no more.
I
Yeah.
was like, who is this person with this new last name?
Not this name.
Not Connor. It was another one. I was like, what was that?
Yeah. Yeah, we gonna get a divorce. But I look at the whole thing like this, Lady Bird, and I know you do too. Who gives a shit what people got
Yeah.
to say about
Yeah.
living with this? None of us woke up. My favorite saying: none of us woke up in the morning and said, "Hey, you know what? I would like to choose HIV to be living with today." Nobody
Right.
chose to live with it, so you got to just keep pressing on in life and stop giving a damn what people think.
That
It
part.
is what it is. It's nothing we can do. It's not
Absolutely.
going nowhere. We're gonna wake up with it, eat lunch, dinner with it, and we're gonna go to sleep with it. It's not going nowhere. So
And honestly, I tell people all the time, I don't know. It's like you go through your whole day doing whatever you're doing. I don't just sit around here thinking about it. Like, oh, yeah,
all day.
let me and my HIV go to Walmart today. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't just making plans with me and my
Oh,
HIV.
me and my
Like,
HIV need to go to the
you
grocery
know,
store.
if I do think about it, maybe it's because I'm getting ready to take my medication or something.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm not just walking around here like, yeah, we got plans today. Come on.
Oh my gosh.
you know.
No,
But I
all
think
I can
that's what
say
people
to the
think.
people that's watching, you have to remember that HIV affects you too, even if you don't think it does. It can be close to home, somebody and you don't even know they're living with it. So, and I tell you guys, get tested. You have to get tested. It's like, what's the saying? Better to know than not to know. Because if we didn't know, we wouldn't be here today.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Well, D, I appreciate you coming on here and giving me a little
Thank
bit
you for
of
having
time
me.
today. Yes. Because I was like, wait a minute, I got to get D on here. I don't care
Yeah,
about
I'm not going to tell you no.
anybody else. Listen. Because, like, honestly, because, when me and you first met, you started doing segments and things and that's how I learned a lot of stuff that
Mhm.
I didn't know, especially the You Equal You stuff and just watching you doing the interviews with people, and I was
Right.
like, because when I first did it, I was like, oh, I hope D don't think I'm stealing her stuff. But then I was like, you know what? And I said, I was like, you know what? No, D ain't like that. Look, he gonna be like, girl, go ahead, because I'm tired. You know.
I'm glad you're doing. I'm really happy that you're
Yeah.
doing it. It looked good though. So kudos to you.
Well, thank you so much. I am trying. This
The
is only the
intro,
beginning.
everything, the commercial, all of it looked good. Yep.
Yes, this is
I ain't
only
even
the
have mine
beginning.
down pat like that, girl.
Look, so
I
we
did.
have another month of interviews. So you're my last May interview.
Okay.
So I have 3 interviews for June. And then June 14th, I have a young lady that's going to come on and talk to us about life insurance.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't have life insurance.
Yeah.
GoFundMe is not life insurance. GoFundMe's and Cash Apps is not life insurance. We need to.
There's another guy I know that's doing life insurance for people living with, not just life insurance, but people living with HIV. He does life insurance for that. But
Okay, so he need to reach out to me too.
I'll give you his information.
Yeah, send me
Yeah.
his information
I'll
because
give you
I
his
have a lot of
information.
people trying to find that as well. Because there are some places that do life insurance for people positive, but if I have somebody that I know directly and I ain't just sending people on a wild goose hunt, then I want to have that resource also.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give
And
you his
then,
information. Maybe he'll do a commercial.
yeah, so
Mhm.
once I'm done with June, then season 2 of Lady Bird Live on Facebook will come
Okay.
back in September. And then that's when I'm really going to take my deep dive, because I'm going to be, at that point, we're going to get into other STIs. We're going to get into talking with medical professionals,
Okay.
nurse
Okay.
practitioners, and things, because I really want people to not just feel like it's just all about, HIV. I want to bring people into a whole world of all the other stuff that they just are really not
Yeah. Yeah. It's more than
on.
just
Because like
HIV.
you said, when people are not
Herpes,
infected,
gonorrhea.
they don't realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
gonorrhea.
why everybody on here? Guess what? Syphilis is the highest it's been in 20 years in the United States. So
Man,
you better be careful.
yes, syphilis is going rampant. Rampant,
I'm
I
like,
say.
what? Yep. Be
Syphilis
careful.
and a non-curable gonorrhea. Don't
Be
think you're going to
careful.
get some flagyl for some gonorrhea now. It's not.
Mm.
Listen,
Y'all
they
better watch
have
out.
it's a strand of gonorrhea, and that strand actually really got really bad in Atlanta. That has no cure. And gonorrhea is one of them things where people was getting it back in the day, and taste of medicine is gone. Yeah, it's getting very smart now. You got to remember, these are
You gotta
viruses.
be careful.
Viruses can change, and they mutate, and they get better at what they do.
Right.
So yeah,
Yep. Sex is overrated. Be careful, you guys. It's not that
I
serious.
know. I
Wrap
ain't
it
even
up.
gonna tell you how
Wrap
long it's
it
been,
up.
but
Wrap
it ain't
it up.
all that.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Yes,
Wrap it
wrap
up.
it up. Wrap it up and
Wrap it up.
all right, D. Well, I thank you so much.
Thank you. It's good
Coming
to
on
see your
here.
face too.
Yes, don't go nowhere.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you when I end
Okay.
it. I'm gonna just remove you on the screen. All right, you guys. So thank you guys for joining me for another week of Lady Bird Live on Facebook here with my special guest, Miss Davina Connor. Don't forget, you can go follow her on TikTok, Positively D with a Z, not an S. Her websites, poshaven.org, as well as the voices, the herewearevoices.com website. Make sure you guys go and check those websites out. Go and watch that documentary. If you missed it, go watch it. Hey Don, hey everybody that tuned in. Make sure you share this out. Hello again and goodbye to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. It was a pleasure as always. I will see you guys back again next week. Next week, who is my guest? I believe Cece is my guest next week. So come back next week, because next week gonna have your mouth on the floor, because she had my mouth on the floor when she said she was gonna breastfeed a baby, when they told us we ain't supposed to be breastfeeding no babies and we HIV positive. But listen, baby girl done did it. She done changed policies and procedures and all kind of stuff. So make sure you come back on next week for the show. And I will see you guys then. Thank you guys so much. And we are out of here.